Alright guys, this is Evan again. This is my 98 Camaro. The next video was supposed to be based off of LS1 cylinder heads and the intake valves from like a 5.3 engine, and pretty much swapping them out to get more airflow and more compression. But the injector seals on this, the injector rings, need to be replaced, so I figured I might as well throw up a video. It's got aftermarket fuel rails on it. It doesn't have the factory ones. So here we go. Alright guys, first things first, when working on the car, you always disconnect your battery, which I've already done. I've disconnected the intake temp, MAF, IAC, TPS. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the air lid out, and I've already loosened that quite a bit, so we should be good. And do that. Sink that up there. Move the filter. This thing probably needs replaced. Anyways, so now we're left with disconnecting everything else. All your injectors, you'll disconnect the ignition coil, and then you'll remove the PCV vent tubes and the evap, and then we can get to the intake bolts. Okay, so now we've got everything disconnected around it. The only thing I need to disconnect is the map sensor behind the manifold, and then a vacuum line. And whenever you're removing the intake on these cars, on the F bodies, this hose here, the brake booster hose, it tends to wrap around the oil pressure sending unit. So what'll happen is when you go to pull the intake out, make sure that that's clearing the sending unit. Otherwise you'll break the sending unit. The hose won't. I've seen it happen, and it's happened to me plenty of times. So once you learn that, you learn to never do it again. So just a quick tip: when you're removing the brake booster hose, make sure you're always keeping an eye on it. Make sure it clears the sending unit, the oil pressure sending unit. All right, we've got the intake off. I got the fuel rails off. Now, what was going on here is on this, it was leaking, and you can see it ate the paint up. But I don't really feel like repainting the intake. The part you actually see looks decent, so whatever. Here's the injector. I got a new injector kit, or O-rings and whatnot. What had happened is these brackets, they're little aluminum brackets, and right here where the bolt goes, it had bent, so it was causing enough play to where they would leak. So I'm going to get the new seals and these guys put in, and then put the intake all back together and throw it back in. Alright, the intake's all back together. What I did wrong last time was I put the injectors in the rails, and then I set the rails down. And then with these little brackets here, I tightened them down and it bent them apparently, so over time it just started leaking. What I did this time, I straightened these brackets out, and then what I did is I put the injectors in with the new seals, all of them, in the intake. Set the rails down, lined it all, and then pressed it all in. Put some pressure on and snug these bolts down, so now they're in there good. So now just need to get this back in the car and then start it up and see how she runs. Alright, so the intake's back on. It's all torqued on. You torque them. There's a pattern you go by. You can look it up on Google through the images, but it's the first pass is 44 inch-pounds. Second pass is 89 inch-pounds, which is not tight at all. You may think you need to tighten it more. Don't. Just leave it. The gaskets seal perfectly fine. Now that I've got the intake on, I'm going to hook up all the connections again. The vacuum lines, the evap, and then the battery, and then I'll do a startup and see if she leaks. Alright, so I got the intake and everything's all buttoned up. I've just turned the key on and off 3 times, and she's not leaking. I guess the only thing to do now is just to start it and then check for leaks. She doesn't have much gas, and I don't feel like going up to get gas. Plus, don't want to really drive it if it starts to rain. So. Thanks. feel underneath the fuel rails too, because sometimes it might be leaking and you may not even know it. But alright, well, within the next, I don't know, a couple days, maybe next week or so, I'll have another video up. The video I told you about the LS1 cylinder heads and the different size valves and stuff like that you can run in them to make more power, get more air in the motor. But yeah, so I'll keep you guys updated and keep videos coming to you. I'd appreciate it if you subscribe and like. If not, and you just want to watch, whatever, that's cool too. I enjoy doing this kind of stuff, so I'll be here for a while. Once again, I appreciate it. Take care. Have a good day. Bye.